What is up, YouTube? Back from another YouTube video. We're here with a Metamorphosis Legend Lost Sector guide for Season of the Witch. Now, to find this Lost Sector, you want to go to your Destinations tab, go to Savathun's Throne World, and then spawn here at the Quagmire. And pretty much all you gotta do when you spawn in here, if you don't know how to get there, is just go straight to your left. I mean, you can go to your right too, but going to your left is going to be way faster and easier. So you can see when you go to your left, you're pretty much just going to follow this pathway here. It's pretty easy just to follow it, but at some point you will enter a new portion of the map. So we're just going to keep going that way until you're going to see it pop up on the left side of my screen. So you can see we're going to keep going down here, and we're going to enter Miasma here. And once you enter here, we're going to go this way. And you can go to the right side there, or you can go to the left. I'm just going to go to the left here. And once you see this little halfway point, like with these broken buildings and stuff right here, make a right. You can see underneath this cave. And then you'll find the Lost Sector here. If you see some names here, you can also use that as a reference. But this is what it's going to look like. And if you don't see this flag here or the icon right there on your map, you're going to have to go inside the Lost Sector and complete it normally in order to unlock Legend and Master difficulty for the Lost Sector. So you can see as I go inside here, we're going to reach a certain point, and then it's going to say Metamorphosis discovered, and then it'll say that right there. And then once you get in here, all you gotta do is kill all the enemies here. Make sure you fight your way all the way to the boss, kill the boss, and loot the chest at the end, and you will unlock Legend and Master difficulty for this Lost Sector. But now that we have that out of the way, we're going to make our way back upstairs, and we're going to go over the modifiers for this Lost Sector. You can see we're just jumping up here, and here we go. Let's just hope I don't get shot at by any AI. But we have arc and solar shields. You're gonna have locked loadout and extra shields. We have equipment lock. We have limited revives. And then we have champion foes. We're gonna face overload and unstoppable champions. You have arc threat, 25% increase to incoming arc damage. Scorched earth, enemies throw grenades significantly more often. Overcharged weapons. Weapon overcharges from the seasonal artifact are active in this activity. Kinetic weapons do increased damage when your subclass element matches an active surge. Then Strand Surge, 25% bonus to outgoing strand damage. Arc Surge, 25% bonus to outgoing arc damage. And then Overcharged Machine Gun, which is a 25% bonus to machine gun damage. Now, if completed solo, exotic chest armor is rare, and enhancement cores are uncommon. Recommended power is 1830, but 1810 and above you should be just fine. So we're going to get into the loadout now. Now, getting into the loadout, we have Strand subclass with Silk Strike and Marksman Dodge, Triple Jump, Threaded Spike, and Threadling Grenades. Then we have Widow Silk and Threaded Spectre. Then for fragments, we have Thread of Generation, Thread of Evolution, Thread of Binding, and Thread of Continuity. Now for the first weapon, we have Riptide, the Fusion Rifle. And if you can get this with Chill Clip, I highly recommend it. This is going to allow us to, when we use the first half of the magazine on Riptide, it will freeze the enemies in place. So you can use that to either reposition, run away, or just use that to, hit crits and stuff like that. But this will be used for unstoppable fusion rifles, so we can stun the unstoppable champions. Now for our second weapon here, we have Le Monarch, the Void Bow. It's an exotic, and it fires those poison arrows, and it has intrinsic overload champion rounds, so this is going to be used to stun overload champions. And this, in my opinion, is probably one of the best ways to stun overload champions because it's so consistent. That way every shot, when you charge it up the right way, it's gonna do damage and stuff like that. It's always gonna stun, and that's why I'm running Le Monarch here. Now for the heavy slot, Circular Logic, and LMGs do get a buff in this Lost Sector, so this is gonna do increased damage along with it matching the Strand Weapon Surge, so that's gonna be even better. Or I shouldn't say Weapon Surge, but there's just Strand, Super Surge in general that allows you to do increased damage. And then we have Hatchling on it, which is one perk that I recommend because it will, spawn in more Threadlings, which will be useful for killing ads or just, dealing extra damage to the boss, as well as the Nanotech Tracer Rockets, which will be doing a little more damage. By no means is it meta or anything like that. It's not game changing because it's a seasonal artifact mod, which will increase the damage by a little bit, but it's not anything too crazy. But that's why we're running Circular Logic as well. Now for the armor, we're running the Ashes to Assets mod on here, and we have gain and bonus super energy on grenade kills. That's what it does. Then Void Siphon, Strand Siphon, and Strand Siphon again. Now I do want to note that the Void and Strand Siphon dual siphon mod is on right here. This is from the seasonal artifact, and I will point that out later on when I talk about the seasonal artifact and I show you everything that I'm running from it. But this is from the seasonal artifact, and you can see that it has Rapid Void Weapon Final Blows creating Orb of Power, and Rapid Strand Weapon Final Blows creating Orb of Power, so it has both of them in one slot. Then I have Harmonic Siphon, and this one will always just match whatever subclass you have equipped. So you can see I have Strand equipped, so it's going to give me Strand Siphon. Now, our Strand weapon here, Circular Logic, getting kills with this will generate orbs, and getting kills with Le Monarch, our Void weapon, will generate orbs. So that's why we have those two picked. If you know you're not going to use Le Monarch and you're going to use Riptide more, for example, then make sure you put Stasis Siphon on. That way, with Stasis Weapon Final Blows, you create Orbs of Power. So just keep that in mind when it comes to making tweaks like that. But when it comes to the arms, we have Firepower. Your Grenade Final Blows create Orbs of Power. Grenade Kickstart. When your Grenade Energy is fully expended, you gain Grenade Energy. Then additionally, your Armor Charge is consumed and you gain additional Grenade Energy for each stack. Fastball. This increases your grenade throw distance. And by no means is Fastball necessary. You can see if I take it off, it's the only option I have, so that's why I have it on. But for the chest piece, we just have our damage resistant mods. As you can see, I have 2 arc resistant mods and 1 solar. And to be honest with you, if it was up to me, I just put all solar on. The arc resistant mods, I didn't really notice if they did anything, but it felt like, at least in that first room, solar damage was definitely increased. It was coming from like every single enemy that was there. But I did get this done with 2 arc and 1 solar. Let me know down in the comments, you know, how you feel. Am I just completely faded right now and that's just how I felt? But I don't know, it really does feel like there's a lot more solar damage in the first room. But there is going to be arc damage, especially towards the end in the boss room when there's those the boss pretty much does arc damage because of the, you know, immune phase and everything that it has. But just keep that in mind. I did do 2 arc, 1 solar. If you want, do 1 arc, 1 solar, 1 void, 2 solar, 1 arc, whatever combination you want. It's completely up to you. But then for the leg armor, we got Star Eater scales, and the main thing about this is the perk Feast of Light. You can pick up orbs after you charge your super, and you can pick up 4 orbs to get Feast of Light times 4. And when you have that, whenever you use your super, you will do increased damage, and that's very important in this boss sector in particular, because when you get to that boss room, after you shoot those crystals, you have like 10-15 seconds to kill the boss before he goes immune, and then you have to shoot the crystals again. You ideally, if you're farming this, you want to get that 1 phase kill. That way you can just move on with your day, do it again, or just, you know, do whatever else you got to do, right? You don't want to, you know, get him half health and then next thing you know he's immune and you got to do it all over again, right? So that's why we're going to be running Star Eater scales to help get that kill faster. And you can see we have better already. Your health begins to regenerate immediately after picking up an Orb of Power. Then we have Strand Weapon Surge, which is just strand weapons gain a small bonus to damage while you have any armor charge. Your armor charge now decays over time. And then we have a Void Weapon Surge, which is the same thing as Strand, but just with Void weapons. So just to show you again, my Strand weapon, my Void weapon. And just to point this out again, if you know you're not going to use, for example, let's say you're not going to use the Void Bow as much, you're going to be using Riptide more, then put Stasis Weapon Surge instead of Void Weapon Surge, right? Make those adjustments, that way you're not, you know, missing out on extra damage and stuff like that. But for the cloak, 2-time dilation mod, so decaying armor charge has a longer duration, and then Bomber, which reduces grenade cooldown when using your class ability. Our class ability is going to be putting that decoy down, that way if we're in a pickle or, you know, we just need a reposition or something like that, boom, throw your decoy down, run away, go heal, go, you know, do whatever you got to do. But every time we use that, that's going to help reduce grenade cooldown, which is great. But now when it comes to the artifact, here's everything that I have on that is pretty much useful for this. Unstoppable fusion rifle, obviously, so you can stun unstoppable champions with your fusion rifle. Then we have Void and Strand Siphon combo. That's what allows us to get the Void and Strand Siphon mods into one slot. Then Origin perk specialization 1. You can see it says it greatly improves the benefits provided by all the Origin traits pretty much that's listed, but the main one we care about is Nanotech Tracer Rockets, because that's the Origin trait of the LMG. And again, this can do increased damage not only because of the strand burn, but because of the LMG increased damage. So Okay, just keep that in mind when it comes to, using that. But then we have this tangles one in the third column here, and it's a strand weapon final blows have a chance to generate a tangle. This is great because, like I just mentioned, we're going to be using our LMG a lot to kill AI, so those kills have a chance to generate a tangle. And when you pair that with something like refreshing pickups, picking up a tangle or elemental orb grants energy to your least powered ability, and then elemental munitions, which is combatant final blows with tangles, or elemental orbs have a chance to drop special or heavy ammo. So you can see we're going to be using tangles to our advantage, and you can also use elemental fury, which is while stunned, champions take bonus damage from your abilities and elemental orb damage. So that's everything I have there. I do have 11 out of the 12, so if you have that one extra slot, pick another one. Don't only use these 11, but go ahead and pick anything else that you think is useful. But now that we've gone over the loadout, we're going to get into the gameplay. So you can see we are loading into the Lost Sector right here, and this is probably, I'm not gonna lie, this is top 5 worst starting rooms in my opinion. This definitely does give K1 Revelation a run for its money, but you can see here, when you start off, you're gonna have a lot. You're gonna have red health bar enemies, 2 overload champions, you're gonna have a chieftain on the right that's gonna be doing a lot of solar damage. These overloads are super annoying, but you can see I'm trying to isolate one and burn their health bar before these stasis enemies run at me. So you can see I was able to go and stun and then just throw throwing grenades and kind of take those out. But you can see, just focus on an overload champion and then deal with everything else after. And you can see here I'm gonna take out the overload, and then I'm gonna throw a decoy and I'm gonna make a beeline straight for this overload right here. You can see I'm gonna get the stun and then just focus on the overload here. You can see I'm just gonna keep stunning. I was gonna switch to my heavy, but I was like, nah, he's gonna get back up by the time I switch. But you can see, melt him with your LMG, and then make a beeline to your right now and deal with that chieftain because they're gonna be super annoying. You can see I just used my Riptide, that way I can get the stasis damage there. And I thought it was gonna spread to the guy on the left there, but unfortunately it didn't. And here you can see that I tried to get a kill with the tangle to try to get some special or heavy, but not even that. Got the full kill on one of the scorns, so I was like, whatever, at least I tried. Then I went over here, and I knew that there was going to be this knight with the immune shield, and when you see the knight, you pretty much have to shoot the crystals that are around him. So you can see from my angle here on the right, there's only one crystal that I saw, so I went and I shot that crystal. Now when you go to another angle, you are going to see the other two, and the other angle is on the left over here. So you're going to see I'm going to go this way and then look straight down, and you will see the other crystals that you have to shoot. You can see get rid of those. And then I just used my heavy. I did in a prior run try to use Riptide, and I don't know, maybe I was using it wrong, but that guy, he smacked me, bro. I'm not gonna lie. It was pretty embarrassing. He killed me when I was trying to kill him with Riptide. So when it gets to this point here, just shoot this, and then at one point you will see Scorn enemies here. Just give it a couple seconds. There it is. You can see the Screep spawn in, and shoot them from up here. That way you don't drop. But you can also stay up here and try to shoot the overload. You can see I dropped and I completely forgot that there was going to be an overload champion, but I did deal with them relatively easily. I was scared because I was like, I don't want the Screep to push me and kill me, so I did just stay back a lot. But you can see here, as I'm doing damage, I switch over to the LMG, and then I end up getting the kill. You can see I used my melee weapon, and he ended up healing up a little bit, which I don't know why. But there you can see it. This is where I got really scared because I saw 2 Screeps there, and I almost threw that whole, overload damage phase right there. But we get rid of them. Then all you have to worry about is these red health bar enemies, as well as an unstoppable champion, and then a knight. Here you can see I get kills with the tangle, then stun with the fusion rifle, and just use my LMG and my abilities. You can see I stun him and then just keep doing damage, get a finisher, nothing too crazy. And I do want to note, make sure you are picking up orbs and generate them from the first room and throughout the second room. As you can see, I have Feast of Light ×4, because ideally you want to have it before you enter the boss room, so just keep that in mind as well. You can see as I shoot these crystals for the knight, we're gonna go and then get rid of the knight here. And you can see I'm trying to kill him with Riptide, and by no means is it the best damage, but it is what it is. Here you can see, once you do that, all you have to do is get yourself ready. Make sure all your weapons are reloaded. That's what I was doing right there. That's because when we enter this boss room, you really just are in a small area, and you want to make sure you're not wasting a lot of time. It would be, you know, pretty bad if you had to reload right in front of the boss and everything. So you can see here the drop, and when you just reach a certain part of the room, it's going to trigger the enemies to spawn in. You're going to have an unstoppable champion, so you can see I just opted to deal with the champion first, but you are going to have some of these enemies with solar damage here. And you can see I go for the unstoppable, take my fusion rifle out, wait 2 seconds until unstoppable shot is ready, get those kills, and now I'm ready to deal with the boss. Now you can see the crystals here. Once you break those 3, you can go and do damage. You can see that's my first one, that's my second one, and I waited just so he would be right in front of me to where I shot the third one, because I knew I was going to pop my super right in front of him and just spam the attack. As you can see, with Feast of Light ×4, you can easily get that done. No need for a second phase at all. And then just run over here to the chest and get your loot. And that's going to do it for the Lost Sector guide. Hopefully you found it useful. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Ring the bell so you don't miss another video. Playlist with all my Season of the Witch Legend Lost Sector guides will be popping up on screen right now. And try to follow my Twitch, twitch.tv/MuckusJam0. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.